It was a very large collaboration between engineering and architecture students, 70 on the architecture side and over 30 on the engineering side.
At the undergraduate level, there are not so many opportunities for architects and engineering students to collaborate, but that is what they will have to do in practice, and so that made it experiential for them to understand how to work in these mixed teams.
We as engineers learned a lot about how the architects work, and we really feel like it did a good job at describing what the real world will be like when we go out in the field and work with architects in real life.
So working with students from another discipline, specifically engineering in this case, was really interesting. What we found out happened was that the further we got into the process, the more excited they got about it as well. And pretty soon we had the engineers jumping into the design aspect as much as we were jumping into the engineering aspect. And so by the end of the project, it almost didn't even feel like architects and engineers. It was just a group of people who had different skill sets working towards the same design.
And what really made it experiential was I asked Professor Larry Speck, what would be a real-world architectural project that these students could work on, and he had the great idea of doing an elementary school here in Austin.
That school is currently scheduled to be demolished, and so they had to work on this project while knowing that this could be potentially built if it comes true.
But I think what really helped them get prepared was having kind of a kickoff meeting where we brought them all together, and we also brought in a project manager from the Austin Independent School District, and he presented the project and the issues with the project, so they were able to sit side by side and get excited about a real world project.
So the first part of the project was to create a site model just very quickly and have a general concept, and so then the project manager would come back and look at them and explain to them what works and what doesn't work, and so they had this feedback that was beyond academia and basically from practice directly.
And finally, I think our final presentation, where we had an exhibit in the Cockrell School of Engineering, was really helpful for them to see the impact that this project had, because the architecture students, for the first time, were able to see faculty from the School of Engineering coming in and looking at their work, as well as people from the general community. And they were able to answer questions about their models and their ideas, so this really got them engaged with the community and also other departments on campus.
But having an opportunity in a class like this to interact with a real client, there's a higher degree of responsibility.
It kind of made us more motivated to put more thought into it. And it was also helpful getting feedback from someone that actually works in the field to know if what you're doing is good or not, or what improvements can be made, or different ways to approach the problem.
We don't get a whole lot of architect-client relationships. That's something that's really hard to replicate in the classroom setting at school. And so any opportunity for there to be a real person or entity on the other side saying, we need this, this, and this, and then actually reacting to what we do is really informative in terms of learning how to design in that respect, which is what we'll be doing in the real world.
To work with others, to hear clients and engineers at the same time, having all three pieces of those equation together is incredibly valuable at learning to be a designer, because you can't, from the architect side, you cannot be a designer unless you have those skills.
So if any faculty member is thinking about doing experiential learning, I would strongly encourage it. I think you should really just jump in and try to collaborate with whoever you think is important to your project, and don't feel limited based on department boundaries or any kind of expertise, abilities, or the more interdisciplinary I think the better, and to really be excited about opening up to new points of view. I would just go ahead and do it, and also contact the Faculty Innovation Center for advice and help, because they were extremely helpful in our collaboration.
Don't wait, just do it.